Hi, I'm Kate Ward and this is your Dickman Farms Smart Gardening Tip. And what are we talking today? Well, we're talking projects and redos and makeovers and that kind of thing. A common question that we get is, how do I start something? Boy, it looks like I have a project I want to do. How am I successful so I don't have grass coming up in that area? What do I do? How do I make it easy? That's what we're going to talk about today. You can see you're going to need a couple of tools, or I would recommend a couple of tools. One is going to be a shovel. At some point you're going to need a shovel. At some point you're going to need a rake. Not totally mandatory, but totally handy would be this, or a lawnmower. We have this is a weed and grass killer, some compost, a bag of flour that I've put somewhere, but I don't know where it is. It's around here somewhere. And a regular old garden hose. So you can see here, that's what we're going to start with today. So you can see in the background, I have some landscaping and I have some landscaping here. Well, what if at home I was starting a new area or I wanted to extend an existing area? Well, how am I supposed to know? What is it going to look like? Well, you could draw it on paper, say, oh, I think I'd like it like this. And then, but how do I transfer it to the ground? Well, if you drew it on paper, fantastic. Great, wonderful, and all that jazz. If you didn't, you don't have to necessarily. You could do something with the hose. So what the hose does is it allows you to see what the shape of the garden could be. Now that said, this is slightly easier if you have a bunch of rocks or a buddy, because hoses do this. If anybody's ever tried to straighten a hose, it's not the most fun. You could also use rope or anything like that, but it'll allow you to see, like, all right, I'd want maybe this new bed line would come off here kind of, and it would come along here, and it would allow you to actually draw the shape of your bed so you could see what it was like when you were finished. So you could see, like, all right, well, I wanted to extend this and I want it to come out a little bit. Oh, I don't quite like it. So maybe I'll push it out a little bit more. Maybe I want to add an ornamental tree so it needs a little more space. Really what you like and what that shape is what you should do. Keep in mind, you're gonna probably have grass on the other end. So if it's not bound like that garden is against the house, then I have grass on the other side. So can I mow it? Is that a good angle to just drive my lawnmower along, or my push mower, either way? So keep that in mind. Is it easy to maintain? So we wouldn't want something that came in like this, because this would be a really hard corner to get that mower to come around. So we'd want to soften that line so the mower can go right along the front. Make sense? Perfect. So once we have our line laid out, this is where that bag of flour that may or may not have disappeared. Let's see. Ha! Bag of flour comes in handy. So, all right, so there's my thing. What I can do once I get it, so I can look at it, is I can take my flour and I can kind of do this. All right, and I can put it along here. Well, then I can get rid of, once I have that, I can get rid of my hose. All right, so now that's hose. There's my bed line. All right, it's a tiny little bed line, but imagination is our friend. Remember, kids? So now I have my bed line I like. Well, next comes in, da-da-da, herbicide. So this is the case. You can do one of two things. If you are just like, man, I don't want to spray anything, I just can't, it's not my thing, don't worry about it. You could always get some elbow grease and you could actually strip this section, because grass loves to grow. So we can mow it real tight and then try and strip it. So you take a shovel and you get underneath it and you pick it up and expose the soil, or you can do it this way. So here I would take, and I'd take out my handy dandy sprayer, I'd hook it up, see, imagination again, folks, and I'd go spray, 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 spray. Well, how do I know where to spray? I have an outline, okay? So that outline that I drew, I'm now gonna color it in with spray, and I'm gonna back up as I do it, all right? Because one of the things we like to do is we spray, and if we're not paying attention, oh, we get some over here. Now I've got it on my shoes, and then I step over here, and now I have footprints in the lawn, which is super on the beach, but not in the lawn. So anyway, so that's what we do. We wait for it to dry, so we've sprayed it, sprayed backwards. We're done with that. Let it dry, all right? So maybe the next day we come back. That's where the lawnmower or the weed whip comes in. Because weed control works best, it needs something to contact. So we have that longer thing that we're taking out. That's why, so there's a lot of contact. Well, now it's all absorbed in. We did it yesterday. Still have my outline. So I real tight to the ground. And then, believe it or not, I could go in and go ahead and start planting in this area. So if I had my shrubbery or perennials or whatever I want, I could lay them out. I could add another line along here, put this guy in, and then I'm gonna dig them in right into that grass. It's still greenish, but it's dead. Killed it, scalped it, dead, took a trophy. My 7-year gold, I'm gonna open that up, mix it in with my new plants, mix, 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 plant it back in, turn the little clumps upside down. The grass is dead, it'll break down, it adds even more compost. And then, for the piece de resistance, we do a nice top dress of mulch, cover up our line a little bit, you're done. If you're feeling super frisky, you could actually go through with a different kind of shovel called a spade edge, and you can knock this out so you have a nice perfect line so that there's a definite separation. But those are generally the steps to how you start your project easily and successfully. So come on in, can't wait to see you. And if you're wondering what that is behind me, that is a perennial hibiscus. We got them. We'll see you soon.